East Germany effectively spent 700 million marks on a cup of coffee they never actually got to drink, and in the process, they accidentally created the second largest caffeine empire on the planet. By 1977, the German Democratic Republic was facing a terminal crisis that had nothing to do with spies or borders. They'd run out of beans. After a brutal 1975 frost in Brazil wiped out nearly 70% of the global supply, prices didn't just rise, they exploded by nearly 500%. The GDR was suddenly burning 10% of its entire hard currency reserve just to keep people caffeinated, and the math was starting to break. Notice what happens when a state tries to engineer its way out of a market shortage. The government introduced Kaffee Mix, a desperate blend that was only 51% coffee. The rest? A mixture of peas, chicory, rye, and sugar beets. It didn't just taste terrible. The proteins in the pea flour would swell under heat and pressure, literally clogging and destroying coffee machines across the country. The population didn't just complain, they rioted. They sarcastically named the sludge Ericskronung, a jab at their leader Erich Honecker. To save the regime's legitimacy, the GDR realized they needed a permanent socialist supply chain that they could control. They looked toward Vietnam and saw a blank canvas. In 1980 and 1986, the two countries signed a series of massive treaties that represented a total industrial transplant. The GDR poured tens of millions of dollars into the Daklak province. They didn't just buy land, they built an entire town from scratch, relocated 10,000 people, and supplied every truck, irrigation system, and processing plant required to turn a jungle into a plantation. In exchange, Vietnam agreed to give East Germany 50% of every harvest for the next 20 years. It was supposed to be the socialist caffeine pipeline that would keep the GDR's mugs full for decades. But as you follow the timeline, you'll see the cruelest irony in financial history. Coffee trees are a long-term asset. They take 5 to 8 years to reach full maturity. By the time those millions of trees were ready for their first massive commercial harvest in 1990, the country that paid for them was gone. The Berlin Wall had fallen in 1989 and the East German state had dissolved. The customer was dead, but the infrastructure was very much alive. Vietnam took that East German machinery and scaled it until they became a global superpower. Today, they dominate your morning routine, and there's a high probability that the coffee in your favorite instant brand or espresso exists because a vanished country made a desperate bet 40 years ago. The noise of the GDR has faded into history, but the signal of their caffeine desperation is still pumping through the global economy. It's a reminder that the most durable assets often outlive the empires that build them.